Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. It takes great deal of courage to see the world in all its tainted glory, and still to love it. Always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them so much. What seems to us as bitter trials are often blessings in disguise. Man is least himself when he talks in his own person. Give him a mask, and he will tell the truth. Live life with no excuses and travel with no regret. To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist, that is all. You don't love someone for their looks, or their clothes, or for their fancy car, but because they sing a song only you can hear. It is absurd to divide people into good and bad. People are either charming or tedious. Keep love in your heart. A life without it is like a sunless garden where the flowers are dead. I am so clever that sometimes I don't understand a single word of what I am saying. Some cause happiness wherever they go, others whenever they go. Life is not complex. We are complex. Life is simple, and the simple thing is the right thing. We live in an age when unnecessary things are our only necessities. The world is divided into two classes, those who believe the incredible and those who do the improbable. I have the simplest tastes. I am always satisfied with the best. We are all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars. I adore simple pleasures. They are the last refuge of the complex. It is what you read when you don't have to that determines what you will be when you can't help it. There are only two tragedies in life, one is not getting what one wants, and the other is getting it. The only thing to do with good advice is pass it on. It is never any use to oneself. I can never travel without my diary. One should always have something sensational to read on the train. True friends stab you in the front. Education is an admirable thing, but it is well to remember from time to time that nothing that is worth knowing can be taught. There is only one thing in the world worse than being talked about, and that is not being talked about. I don't want to be at the mercy of my emotions. I want to use them, to enjoy them, and to dominate them. Most people are other people. Their thoughts are someone else's opinions. Their lives a mimicry, their passions a quotation. If one cannot enjoy reading a book over and over again, there is no use in reading it at all. A gentleman is one who never hurts anyone's feelings unintentionally. I am a dreamer, for a dreamer is one who can only find his way by moonlight, and his punishment is that he sees the dawn before the rest of the world. They've promised that dreams can come true, but forgot to mention that nightmares are dreams, too. The world is a stage, but the play is badly cast. A man who does not think for himself does not think at all. A pessimist is somebody who complains about the noise when opportunity knocks. The public is wonderfully tolerant. It forgives everything except genius. The truth is rarely pure and never simple. A man's face is his autobiography. A woman's face is her work of fiction. I can resist everything except temptation. A cynic is a man who knows the price of everything and the value of nothing. When I was young, I thought that money was the most important thing in life. Now that I am old, I know that it is. Anyone who lives within their means suffers from a lack of imagination. Fashion is a form of ugliness, so intolerable that we have to alter it every 6 months. You will always be fond of me. I represent to you all the sins you never had the courage to commit. There are only two kinds of people who are really fascinating: people who know absolutely everything, and people who know absolutely nothing. Success is a science. If you have the conditions, you get the result. With freedom, books, flowers, and the moon, who could not be happy? A thing is not necessarily true because a man dies for it. If you want to tell people the truth, make them laugh, otherwise they'll kill you. Quotation is a serviceable substitute for wit. The books that the world calls immoral are books that show the world its own shame. You can never be overdressed or overeducated. My own business always bores me to death. I prefer other people's. Ordinary riches can be stolen, real riches cannot. In your soul are infinitely precious things that cannot be taken from you. A little sincerity is a dangerous thing, and a great deal of it is absolutely fatal. Selfishness is not living as one wishes to live, it is asking others to live as one wishes to live. One's real life is so often the life that one does not lead. All women become like their mothers, that is their tragedy. No man does, that's his. Some things are more precious because they don't last long. No man is rich enough to buy back his past. Anybody can sympathize with the sufferings of a friend, but it requires a very fine nature to sympathize with a friend's success. I am not young enough to know everything. Live the wonderful life that is in you, let nothing be lost upon you, be always searching for new sensations, be afraid of nothing. Experience is merely the name men gave to their mistakes. Whenever a man does a thoroughly stupid thing, it is always from the noblest motives. Children begin by loving their parents. As they grow older they judge them, sometimes they forgive them. Everything in moderation, including moderation. The suspense is terrible, I hope it will last. I choose my friends for their good looks, my acquaintances for their good characters, and my enemies for their good intellects. The advantage of the emotions is that they lead us astray. We are each our own devil, and we make this world our hell. There is no sin except stupidity. Laughter is not at all a bad beginning for a friendship, and it is far the best ending for one. Bore is someone who deprives you of solitude without providing you with company. One should always play fairly when one has the winning cards. Life is far too important a thing ever to talk seriously about. Man is a rational animal who always loses his temper when he is called upon to act in accordance with the dictates of reason. America is the only country that went from barbarism to decadence without civilization in between. The old believe everything, the middle-aged suspect everything, the young know everything. Only dull people are brilliant at breakfast. Art is the most intense mode of individualism that the world has known. I have nothing to declare except my genius. The only difference between the saint and the sinner is that every saint has a past, and every sinner has a future. If there was less sympathy in the world, there would be less trouble in the world. The only way to get rid of temptation is to yield to it. I am too fond of reading books to care to write them. Morality is simply the attitude we adopt towards people whom we personally dislike. There is a luxury in self-reproach. When we blame ourselves, we feel no one else has a right to blame us. Behind every exquisite thing that existed, there was something tragic. It is better to be beautiful than to be good, but it is better to be good than to be ugly. Whenever people agree with me, I always feel I must be wrong. Memory is the diary that we all carry about with us. He has no enemies, but is intensely disliked by his friends. Those who find ugly meanings in beautiful things are corrupt without being charming. This is a fault. Consistency is the last refuge of the unimaginative. Art is the only serious thing in the world, and the artist is the only person who is never serious. Life is never fair, and perhaps it is a good thing for most of us that it is not. I put all my genius into my life. I put only my talent into my works. Nothing can cure the soul but the senses, just as nothing can cure the senses but the soul. To expect the unexpected shows a thoroughly modern intellect.